Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. Happy Monday. It's Rebecca Undem, and you are just tuning in to Rebecca Undem Live, the weekly Facebook show where we tackle one small topic to help you live big in your small town. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I am not like even remotely properly caffeinated yet. So I'm on my way though. My giant NDSU Bison mug. Yes, see the size of that thing? It is completely filled with coffee. And I will likely drink all of it because it's Monday morning and that's just how we roll around here. So as you guys are coming on, if you want to say good morning and tell me, like, I would love it, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how properly caffeinated are you? Because right now I'm at about a 4. Generally speaking, I need a little bit more go juice than that. So would love to hear too, like how it's going for you as you join us. Say good morning, say hey, let me know what's up. Today on Rebecca Undem Live, we are tackling the third installation of the May theme, which is about making a fresh start. And we are talking specifically today about, I think, what can be kind of a misconception when we're starting new or when we're starting anything really. A lot of women that I talk to and work with claim that confidence is their issue or their concern or the thing that they're lacking or the thing that they wish they had more of. And I think what it really is courage. And so today we're going to talk about the 3 things that courage gives to us, especially when we're in this context of starting new. So I've kind of shared with some of you all that I'm making a slight pivot in my business, and that feels like a fresh start to me. Changing things, offering different things, that's always a pivot. And it's always a little bit scary, right? I mean, I think the thing with making a new start or a fresh start is that there probably is some baggage of the feeling of failure or the feeling of embarrassment of what didn't go well to begin with, which is what's like the catalyst for starting over or starting new. And that is why we're going to talk about courage, because we need to find a way to kind of get ourselves over all of that fear, the fear of rejection and the fear of screwing up again and the fear of the outcome being the same. Especially if this is a road you've been down before. Like if it's a goal that you're revisiting and you're trying to get back in touch with, having courage is going to be really important. So, okay, that's what we're going to get to. That's our topic today. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. But before I do, again, let me say welcome. I'm Rebecca Undem. I'm the author of a book called How Mommy Got Her Groove Back. My whole life's aim is really to support women and actually men too. That might be part of my pivot. Women that are hanging with me, you guys will have to tell me what you think. But I'm questioning if I need to keep excluding men from my world. So there you go. That's like food for thought. You guys can chime in and tell me what you think. But generally I support women that are trying to live big lives in small towns because it's a very different environment. It can be very isolating. It can be very scary. And so that is what I'm on the earth to do, to help you get your groove back. Okay. All right, so I see that I think Cindy is here, but nobody has actually said anything to me yet. So I'm going to wait for at least one little comment like, hey, Rebecca, or something. So I know for sure that you can both hear me and see me because it's always a little bit tricky. You know, I can see myself. I can hear myself, obviously. But if one of you could just say good morning and let me know that you're actually live with me before I start, that would be fantastic. Okay. All right, so again, we are talking courage today, not confidence, but courage. So Cindy said good morning. Thanks, Cindy. Good morning to you as well. Thank you. That helps me just to know that I'm not having any technical issues. Okay, so let's get into our topic about courage. So thinking about, again, starting over, making a fresh start, that being weighed down by the embarrassment. Hey, we've got some more good mornings. She can hear me perfectly. Jenna, good morning. Carla, good morning. Thanks, ladies. I love it when I know people are actually with me. Otherwise, showing up and being live by yourself is really not a whole lot of fun. Okay, so again, starting over again, like this idea of a fresh start, it's different than just starting something new, right? It's this feeling of going down a path you've maybe already tried or a goal that you've already tried to accomplish. And so with it comes a lot of emotional weight. Sometimes we have to carry or harbor that feeling of embarrassment or that feeling of failure. And we talked about this earlier, that we've got to let go of the what could have been or should have been. That was the first installment of May's episodes for Rebecca Undem Live. So I would really check that out if this idea of making a fresh start, or if you're like recommitting to something, a goal maybe that you have, an area of your life that you want to improve. That recommitment is honestly much harder than just commitment in the first place, because you have all the baggage, right? All the emotional clutter of how things went in the past. And so it's really not about confidence. Women, especially women that I know, love, and have worked with, were always like, I'm lacking confidence. I just don't speak up that much. I don't do what I think I should do. I'm not confident. This isn't about confidence. This is about courage. At least that's what we should be talking about, is courage, because courage is a skill that every single woman, every single person can develop. And so I like to talk in terms of skills, because then we feel like we have some control over it, versus confidence, which feels, and often I think is portrayed at this, you either have it or you don't kind of a thing, right? So we're going to talk today specifically about courage, because the truth is, the uncertainty that comes from recommitting to something or starting fresh, it's always going to be there. All beginnings are laced and kind of flooded with uncertainty, not knowing if what you're doing is the right thing, if what you're doing is the path you should be walking down, all of those fears, all of those concerns. It is par for the course, and we have to figure out how to feel that and move through it anyway. So that is what courage will allow us to do. And courage is really just bravery. It's bravery, okay? And here are the three things that courage really brings to the table, especially again in this context of recommitment to something that we're trying to accomplish. So number one, courage really gives us the ability to act, because action is the only thing that matters when you're feeling that fear, because that's what bravery is, right? It is never, and I tell women this all the time too, like, we are never going to succeed to a point that we completely eliminate our fears. It's just as we succeed. So let's say you've got a ladder, right? You're climbing, and it depends on what your goal is. Maybe you're trying to lose weight. You're trying to become healthier. At some point, the fears and the problems and the struggles that you have when you start out are going to eventually go away, but new struggles, new fears, and new concerns come about as you get further down the journey. It's this idea that we cannot outrun fear. Fear is going to be a constant present, and it's like a companion that follows along every journey that we're taking, no matter what the goal is that we're trying to accomplish. So we get this idea in our minds that really confident people never feel those fears. And that's just not the truth. We will always feel the fear. And the point that courage brings, or the thing that courage brings, is that it allows us to feel that fear and choose action anyway. Okay? So the first thing, that's the very first thing that courage will do. It gives us the choice to act. The second thing courage does is it really allows us to follow our hearts and our intuition. I don't know about any of you, but I spent, and still sometimes spend, a hell of a lot more time thinking about what everybody wants me to do and what would please other people in my life than I do really thinking about what would energize me, what would make me feel passionate, what would feel like a good use of my gifts and my skills. I think, what do other people want from me? Okay, I'll say yes and I'll do it. Okay, courage is that feeling. And again, thinking about standing at that place where you're deciding to recommit to something. There might be a lot of people around you that say, or any sort of fresh start, right? Like maybe you're quitting something and starting something entirely different. There's going to be the people around you that love you and want what's best for you, but sometimes their advice, it can hurt, and it cannot be the thing that allows us to dictate what we choose to do next, right? So the people around us that love us may say things like, but you've already tried that and it didn't work. And are you really sure that this is the direction you want to go? And aren't you kind of afraid that this will happen or that'll happen? Our loved ones sometimes are the ones that are most in our face, like reminding us of all the things that we should be concerned about. And courage is the thing that allows us to say, what do I really want? And finding that courage, that bravery deep down in your gut to say, I need to do this because it's the thing that I know in your knowing. That's, women have intuition. All people have intuition. Women rarely follow it, right? Again, we get caught up in this cycle of what does everybody else need? Okay, so I'm going to do a real quick check-in with you guys that are listening. Does anybody else, like hands up, anybody else really still struggle with worrying about making sure other people, like doing more of what is expected of you rather than really what you want to do? So the idea of people pleasing, is that still something maybe that you're struggling with? Because you can just be like, hands up, Rebecca, I feel it. I am better at it now, I will say for sure, than I was even 5 years ago, maybe. But it is still something I find myself getting caught up in it. And I feel that guilt that comes out of nowhere, that feeling of like, oh, but if I say no, then I'm going to feel bad and I don't want to disappoint people. And courage says, like, screw that. This isn't about what other people need or want. It's about what I know is the right thing for me in my life. Carla's like, hands up, sister. Amen. Right? It's a challenging thing, but courage is what allows us to find that truth inside of us of what we should do instead of what we think we should do. Okay. Third, courage helps us to embrace uncertainty. So everybody knows this. But again, when you're standing in front of it, it's hard to remind yourself of the things you already know, right? We only get better, we only grow when we are outside of the comfort zone. So obviously it's called a comfort zone because it feels good in there. Comfort and being comfortable is, it's usually equated with feeling good, right? It feels easy, it feels natural, it feels comfortable. And the reason we don't grow there is because we already know everything that's going to happen. So this whole idea that, I don't know if I should do this and I don't know if I should do that because I don't know what's going to happen. Well, of course, friend, that's what growth looks like. We have to be willing to take risks, and obviously they should be calculated to some degree. But courage is the thing that says, I know I don't know what's out there. Like, I'm standing in here in my comfort zone. I know I don't know what's out there, but I do know that whatever happens, I'm going to learn from it. And I actually came across a quote. I didn't write it all the way down, so I'm going to be paraphrasing it. It was actually by Stephen King. But he said, all the scariest moments are right before you start. And after that, everything just gets better. Because if we can keep the mindset that everything we learn it helps us to know better and do better next time, then every uncertain thing is just an opportunity to learn. And that is 100% the mindset that we need to adopt if we want to get better at anything, especially in this context, again, of the recommitment or a fresh start. Embracing uncertainty is something we have to learn to do, and courage is the thing that helps us do that. Okay, so I'm going to recap those real quick, and then I have one kind of final thought related again back to courage and confidence and how they tie together. So courage will give us the ability to act, and action is the only thing that matters when you're standing at the start of something or you're facing fear. Number 2, courage allows us to follow our heart and our intuition rather than what we think other people want or need us to do. And number 3, courage helps us to embrace the uncertainty, again, which always comes with new beginnings. And it wouldn't be interesting or unique or adventurous or helpful maybe even if you knew exactly what was going to happen. If that was the case, you'd be right inside your comfort zone. So maybe kind of a bonus tip is one of the things that courage does is it breaks us free from perfectionism. Because perfectionists, and again, like hands up if you relate to this, because I certainly am, and that's not something that you break yourself from, but what you can break yourself from is the things that it holds you back from. And that's what perfectionism, that's what I have been working hard the last 5 years since I've been a business owner to try to release, is the impact of my perfectionistic tendencies. Like, I'm not going to stop being who I am, right? It's part of my nature. But that's the thing, perfectionists, we want to wait until everything is perfect. We want to wait until we have it all figured out. We want to wait until we've mitigated every single risk of looking stupid, sounding stupid, or making mistakes. Okay, hands up, anybody? You relate to that? And the truth is, you are never going to have it 100% figured out. And you have to take a step forward, try it, maybe falter, maybe fail a little bit. And then that's how you learn and you figure it out from there. And that's why Stephen King's quote, I thought was so relevant to this discussion of making a fresh start, because it really is the scariest before you're starting, where all the what ifs come into play. And then once you start taking action, you're like, oh, well, like all those things I thought about or worried about didn't even happen. Look at that. And then it's, oh, I took this step forward and look what I learned. And now I know how I would do this different or that different. An example I'm going to share with you guys. Jenna's like, amen, sister, hands up. This last year, I ran a group coaching program called Groove School. I ran it for an entire year. It's being retired at the end of this month. And that's part of my pivot, part of the change that I'm making with my business. And I don't regret a damn thing about Groove School. I will tell you straight out, like I didn't have it 100% figured out. I wasn't 100% sure, if what I was offering, how I was offering, if it was all going to work out and if it was going to be good. You just don't know. But I got to coach women for a solid year, knowing that they saw serious results as a result of working with me. And that's an amazing thing that I wouldn't have accomplished if I had just kept sitting there ruminating on whether or not I'm doing the right thing. Okay, so there's your bonus with courage, is that it can help you break free of perfectionism. So this whole idea of, is it confidence or is it courage? What I want you to really hear me tell you today is that when you take courageous steps forward, you let courage be the guide instead of confidence, confidence becomes the outcome. Because confidence builds when you try things, even if they don't work out, but you go, God, I'm so much smarter now. And that becomes a skill. Character is built from every misstep, every detour, every failure. Character is built from that, and confidence comes from that as well. So today, whatever fresh start that you're trying to make, whatever recommitment to something that you're trying to make, I encourage you to think about the one question is, what's the courageous thing I can do right now? What's the most courageous thing I could choose to move this thing forward? And learn to stand in that place of courage. Instead of beating yourself up because you don't feel confident enough, that will come because courage breeds confidence. Okay? So that is what I've got for you guys today. 2 quick things I wanted to mention. Again, if you're not in the Groove Seekers community, get your sweet self in there. All the best conversations happen in the Groove Seekers group. And then I still have spots in the 90-minute, so I have a 90-minute workshop at the end of May. Actually, the very last day of May, May 31st, it'll be virtual. And this is really for anybody that really is serious right now about recommitment to some goal or setting a new goal. We're going to look at just a solid action plan. So you'll walk away not just with some ideas about how to start and what to do, but a complete action plan for that specific goal. So anybody, it isn't one thing. You can come with whatever your goal, and I'm going to show you the framework to how to really, it's actually called Get Your Ass in Gear and Get It Done. Like that, again, I'm not the best at naming things, but I figured that people get the idea of lighting a fire under your rear, right? That's what this little workshop will do. So I'm going to post the link for you guys there. If you have any questions about that, you let me know. But in the meantime, until I see you next Monday morning, as always, groove on. And just thank you guys so much for always spending Monday mornings with me. It's my very favorite way to kick off a new week. Okay? You guys have an awesome week, and just go out and be courageous, because you're unstoppable. Once you decide to become courageous, nothing can hold you back. Okay? Have an awesome day, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.